If you ask someone what makes a zombie game good, they might naturally point to the zombies, the gunplay, or even realistic graphics. They might mention the equally iconic works of Techland's Dying Light or Capcom's Resident Evil. But it would be wrong to talk about the zombie genre of gaming without first mentioning arguably the king of zombies, Left 4 Dead. Now, what made Left 4 Dead stand out from other zombie games was its atmosphere. Its ability to combine every aspect of the game perfectly with each other. Every part of the game worked together to create tension, fear, and a sense of urgency in this 2008 Source Engine shooter made by Valve. Now, personally, I grew up with Left 4 Dead, which may feel like I'm trying to sound like an unk, but the game was released like 3 months after I was born. And this game got me into other Source Engine games of the time, like Garry's Mod, Half-Life 2, or Team Fortress 2, but as far as I know, Left 4 Dead was the first game I can remember playing ever as a child. Nowadays, Left 4 Dead doesn't quite terrify me as much as it used to. Like, when I was 5 or 6 playing with my dad and encountering a witch for the first time on No Mercy, that's scary. But over the years now that I've grown up, I still find myself playing this timeless masterpiece that's as old as I am, but now with a new level of appreciation that I never quite thought of before. Today, I'm going to be showing what makes Left 4 Dead a masterpiece. Left 4 Dead puts you in the shoes as one of 4 survivors, Bill, Francis, Zoe, and Lewis, around 2 weeks after the start of a highly contagious and erratic virus, notably named the Green Flu. While labeled as a flu to be a cover-up to avoid mass panic by the game CETA, which is a fictional version based on the real-life CDC and FEMA, it's actually far worse than a flu and is a rapidly mutating rabies-like pathogen that causes extreme aggression, turning the ordinary citizens of a fictional Fairfield, Pennsylvania into the mindless, aggressive infected. And if you're somehow even more unlucky than that, you can turn into more mutated ones known as the special infected, such as the Boomer, Hunter, Witch, Smoker, and finally the Tank. He's like a mini-boss on steroids that throws rocks and cars at you. In the game's first campaign, No Mercy, you start off on the rooftops of an apartment building where you have to work your way through the infected before you get to the safe house, with the common goal of reaching Mercy Hospital, which is also the same hospital in the game Payday. I thought that was pretty cool. And for the sake of this video not being too long, I might include footage from other campaigns, but I'll only be mentioning No Mercy. The survivors of Left 4 Dead use a variety of weapons to defend themselves from the hordes of infected, from handguns, shotguns, and submachine pistols, to full-on military-issued rifles picked up by the survivors throughout the campaigns. Shotguns are really good in close-quarters combat, and automatic weapons like the M16A2 are really good for easy crowd control. However, get you trigger happy with the automatic weapons and you'll end up eating through your limited supply of ammo really fast. Survivors also use Molotovs and notably pipe bombs as an easy, often last resort solution to control hordes. And if you have to use a pipe bomb, I think you're either in a bad spot or you just want to see some zombies blow up. But usually it's a bit of both. Left 4 Dead is constantly able to keep you on your toes with its AI director, which is a dynamic system for the game's infected, pacing, and difficulty. The AI director does not use fixed enemy spawns, like most games. Instead, it adjusts infected placement and numbers based on the player's position, health, skill, and level progress. The AI director also manages resources and threats. It places health kits, ammo, and weapons. It introduces special infected like the Witch and Tank at key moments to shape the difficulty and flow of the missions. Now the aesthetics. The aesthetics and overall atmosphere and soundtrack is where the game really shines. It's what mesmerizes me and is what brings you back for more no matter how many times you played through the same campaigns. The game works because its visuals, its overall aesthetics, and amazing soundtrack, they all push the same feeling. None of them carry alone, and that's what makes Left 4 Dead so well-rounded. Its iconic, muted 2008 era visuals give it a specific, special identity. The textures hold details where it matters. The cracked streets that look like it once thrived are now littered with the infected and abandoned vehicles. Worn concrete, debris, and clutter all throughout the campaign sits naturally. But that's just it. Nothing looks out of place. Combine that with the dark, foggy, and often rainy sky, and it truly encapsulates you in a city overrun by a terrifying reality. The environment of No Mercy feels unified in its dark, weathered style. That consistency really makes each area of the campaign feel like part of a real city that's been broken down. The world around the survivors communicates collapse through its visuals and not dialogue. You can spot US military K-ration boxes in safe houses, and the military-issued assault rifles that are picked up by the survivors show a failure to contain the virus. You can even spot some common infected wearing military BDU uniforms. However, if you take time to really notice the small details the game has to offer, you notice that in the campaign's safe houses there are writings on the walls from survivors that have been there previously, showing an unadded layer of immersion. Some of the writings include personal letters to family members tragically split up, and people argue about the green flu and how fast it takes for someone to turn, whereas others seem to show signs of the insanity that some people would start to convey in a situation like this. And if you just stop to listen in the streets, you'll notice several things right off the bat. Distant gunfire echoes through the streets while the rain pours and the sound of thunder crashes down, with some of the distant gunfire even sounding close by. The ambience is unsettling and immerses you entirely. The game constantly gives you audio cues based on mood, warning, and relief. You will encounter these warning audio cues for when you can expect to encounter certain special infected, or are just about to deal with a horde. And the special infected, notably the tank and the witch, each have their own horrifying music track to accompany them when they're triggered. But once all is said and done, you've fought and now you've made it to the safe house and closed that door, finished your first level. You'll hear a music track to signal relief and a certain "we made it" feel. And finally, all of this is why Left 4 Dead and its later sequel Left 4 Dead 2 are still relevant, even 17 years after. It's not just the mod support in Left 4 Dead 2 that keeps people playing the game. The certain charm the game has and how well the game was put together is what keeps it such a notable, strong contender in the zombie genre of gaming. If anybody asks me what I think the best zombie game is, I think you know the answer. And hopefully, you'll have the same appreciation for Left 4 Dead like I do after this video. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, see you later.